Armin Meiwes was a helpful, pleasant, and charming man who would never have predicted that he would become known as a Monster of Rotenburg. Meiwes, a 42-year-old computer specialist, was well liked in his community. When he wasn't working, Meiwes volunteered to help his neighbors with auto repairs and landscaping. He even threw dinner parties for his kind neighbors. Most neighbors had no idea that the neighborly handyman had his own dark secrets. Armin Meiwes had a desire for human flesh, and his trial is remembered as one of the Germany's most bizarre. Walter Meiwes had just one kid, Armin Meiwes, who was born on December 1, 1961. From his father's prior connection with another woman, he has two elder half-brothers. When Armin was 8 years old, his father abandoned him, leaving him to be raised by his mother. Meiwes had revealed to police specialists that his passion for cannibalism grew throughout his adolescent years, and was inspired by the story of Hansel and Gretel. After the family had split apart, he characterized himself as extremely lonesome. Meiwes placed an ad on the then active website The Cannibal Cafe in February 2001, a defunct forum for people with cannibalism fetish. The Cannibal Cafe is no longer active, however it may still be found throughout the internet Wayback Machine. I'm seeking for a normal build 18 to 25-year-old to be butchered and then devoured, Meiwes claimed in his posting. Many males respond to the ad, believe it or not. Many of the applicants were vetted by Meiwes, who had concluded they were not proper for match or choose to withdraw. Meiwes made no attempt to compel them to do anything they didn't want to do. In March 2001, after several fruitless attempts to discover ideal candidates, Meiwes got a message from a man called Bernd Brandes. Bernd Jürgen Armando Brandes, a 36-year-old Berlin computer engineer, has long fantasized about being devoured. Brandes, who suffered from abandonment difficulties and melancholy, felt he'd be the ideal candidate for Meiwes' flesh-eating dream. Brandes and Meiwes had been exchanging emails for nearly a month before ultimately agreeing to meet. Brandes visited Meiwes' farmhouse in the small village of Westerveld, west of Rotenburg Adelfulda, on March 9, 2001, where they sat in the master bedroom and spoke for a while. Meiwes gave Brandes sleeping pills and encouraged him to wash them down with schnapps and liquid cold medication so he could get on with his great fantasy. Meiwes brought a video camera and began recording the horrible things that were going to take place after Brandes began to feel the effect of the drug and booze taken. Meiwes tried to bite off Brandes' penis. According to Brandes, it did not work, so Meiwes had to remove it with a knife. Brandes attempted to eat some of his own penis raw but was unable to do because it was too rough and chewy, as he called it. Meiwes next cooked the penis in a skillet with salt, pepper, wine, and garlic, followed by frying it on some of the Brandes' fat, although it was too charred to eat at that point. He then sliced up the penis and served it to his dog in parts. Brandes demanded a wash after attempting to eat his own penis. Brandes soaked overnight in a heated bath prepared by Meiwes. Then Meiwes read a Star Trek book while checking on Brandes every 15 minutes in the bath, during which time Brandes was bleeding. Brandes continued to lapse in and out of unconsciousness before fainting once again. After much deliberation and prayer, Meiwes visited the bathroom the next morning and slashed Brandes' neck, after which he hanged the body on a meat hook. He then dismembered his corpse into little parts. Meiwes then pan-broiled the meat, arranged the table, and poured himself a large glass of red wine to accompany his dinner. All while the camcorder was still recording everything, he then started eating the human food he had prepared for himself. He stored the leftover body parts in his freezer behind pizza box after his appetite was satisfied. A 4-hour videotape was made of the incident. Over the following 10 months, Meiwes dissected and ate the corpse. Meiwes' flesh-eating online admissions were upsetting to an internet body, who reported him to the authorities. Investigators raided his residence and discovered body parts as well as the recording of the murder. Meiwes had already admitted to what he had done when authorities began their inquiry. Meiwes had ingested almost 45 pounds of Brandes' human flesh by the time he had apprehended in December 2002. Meiwes informed the investigators that Brandes tastes exactly like pork after his confessions. There are no laws prohibiting cannibalism in Germany. As a result, Meiwes was found guilty on manslaughter and sentenced to 8 years and 6 months in jail on January 30, 2004. according to the judge. Brandes had given his agreement, and both Brandes and Moose were basically mentally ill people. This murder was deemed a mercy killing by lawyers. The case drew a lot of attention from the media. Moose acknowledged cannibalism of Brandes and showed sorrow for his acts in the interview with a German publication. He also stated that he planned to create biography in order to discourage others from following in his footsteps. Following his imprisonment in 2002, websites dedicated to Moose began to pop up with people looking for willing victims. They should get therapy so it does not worsen as it did for me, Moose added. Moose became a vegetarian while incarcerated. He estimated that there are around 800 cannibals in Germany. After prosecutors challenged Moose's sentence, a German court ordered a retrial in April 2005, stating that he should have been convicted of murder since he murdered for sexual enjoyment, a motivation proven by his having recorded the incident. The court decided that the initial trial had overlooked the importance of the film in disproving Moose's claim that he only murdered because he was instructed to. A psychologist testified at Moose's trial that he may reoffend because he still had thought about consuming the flesh of young people. As of now, Moose was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison by Frankfurt Court on May 10, 2006.